Now, let us talk about Oklahoma and Tennessee. This will be Oklahoma's SEC opener. I only get one of these. You know what I'm saying? Number 6 Tennessee is an offensive powerhouse. They are putting up numbers. They are absolutely got it. Nico Iamaleava could announce himself as a Heisman contender, depending on what he's able to do against this Oklahoma defense. They put up 71 on Kent State. They put up 69 on Chattanooga. They beat NC State going away. But the thing that I think should be terrifying if you're Oklahoma is not the Tennessee offense. Quiet as it is kept, Oklahoma's defense ain't allowed anybody to score more than 14 points in a game. And it is the strength of OU this year. That's just who we are this year. We are a defensive football team. But Tim Banks got a defense that has been putting the clamps on everybody they play. They are not giving up trash points to anybody. They could have gave up trash points to Chattanooga. They didn't do it. They could have gave up trash points to Kent State. They didn't do it. The 7 that NC State was able to score was the defense. Tim Banks is looking at OU's offensive line and pointing to James Pearson going, I expect you to eat. I expect you to come up with 4 or 5 sacks. I expect you to get home against this quarterback that looks skittish and scared when the pass rush is coming at him. Because when they're pressuring Jackson Arnold, he has been atrocious. 6-16. 6 sacks. And a pick 6. If you send 5, he has demonstrated that he's going to throw the ball to the other team or he's going to eat it. He doesn't look at the blitz and see something that he's going to beat. Not yet. Not right now. I don't know that he's going to get that figured out in time for Tennessee. I just don't. So if you got something exotic and you got something simulated, I'm throwing it at Jackson Arnold. That's the book, man. That's the book. The book is we're going to make him think that somebody is coming all the time. And we're going to play with his eyes. And we're going to play with his reads. And we're going to force him to run away. And if you make Jackson Arnold into a runner against that Tennessee defense, I think they got enough speed to run you down. I do. That is what's different about the SEC. That is what's different about them playing against Houston, against Temple, against Tulane. Jackson Arnold could run away from other people. He could run away from Tulane's defense, and it was good. He could run away from Houston's defense, and it was good. But we're going to need Jackson Arnold to become the passer that he has not shown himself to be in 2024. Even if he's the passer he showed himself to be against Arizona, I'm not sure that that's good enough because he's throwing the football to the wrong team. He's going to have to play a clean football game, and he might have to be a 300-100 guy to win it. I don't think we've seen that from Jackson Arnold. Now, that said, he reminds me a lot of Trevor Knight. And there's a lot of people that are like, why you dunking on Jackson Arnold and Trevor Knight? He ain't no Trevor Knight. I'm going, yes, hell he is. Because Trevor needed time. Many of you aren't around for this, so I'm going to educate you right quick. Trevor Knight was in a 3-way battle for the starting quarterback job to open the 2012 season, okay? We're talking about Kendall Thompson, Casey's big brother. Casey Thompson been playing football in college forever. Blake Bell, who was so good as a 5-star quarterback that he plays tight end in the NFL, and Trevor Knight. And Josh Heupel was the guy who went with Trevor Knight, okay? Trevor didn't have it to start. But by November, when Josh figured out what this boy does well is zone read and then throw a slant or throw a go route, things started to click. And that was Kansas State on the road that season. Okay? Got it figured out. Him and Brendan Clay making it happen with 2-man game. Read the end. By the time you get to the Sugar Bowl, Oklahoma feels good about what it has been able to accomplish. And Alabama feels bad that it's not playing the national championship game. So we get Trevor Knight up against a Nick Saban defense, and he went to work on it. 300 passing yards. Throwing that ball deep and over the top. Giving an Amari Cooper-led Alabama team the what for and how now. Had Nick Saban in the postgame talking about we didn't really want to be here. Yeah, okay. But you here, and Trevor Knight just went over your dead body. Jackson Arnold's capable of being that good. The problem is the pedigree for Jackson Arnold is already so much higher. National Gatorade Player of the Year, I should not be comping you to Trevor Knight. It's just not what it should be. You are a 5-star quarterback. You are the franchise. The way that Oklahoma bet on Jackson Arnold is the way that Kansas State bet on Avery Johnson. You let Dylan Gabriel go because you got the guy. You let Will Howard go because you got the guy. That's how these things work today. If you think you have something younger, cool. Let your older guy go. That's how this needs to go. Now you have people with a straight face that call themselves Oklahoma fans that want to see Michael Hawkins playing now. Want to know what's happening with Casey Thompson. First of all, let Michael Hawkins grow up. He didn't do nothing to deserve this, okay? And I don't mean that as a dig. I mean, he didn't do nothing to deserve you wanting to throw him in front of Tennessee. Let that boy grow up. Let him compete with Kevin Sperry when he get here. You know, let the process, what did Nick say? Let the cake bake. And they're like, well, RJ, maybe the thing to do is to bench Jackson to give him, you know, a little bit of taste like they did Jalen Milroe last year. First of all, Jalen Milroe got benched because he got an attitude problem. And as soon as he demonstrated he had a good attitude, they put him back in there because you also got to see Ty Simpson ain't it. That's what else you got to see, okay? He ain't it. Tyler Buckner ain't it, you know? Like that's what else you got to see. You got to see who ain't it, okay? I don't want Michael Hawkins to be the reason that we get back to Jackson Arnold. I want Jackson Arnold to be the reason that we stick with Jackson Arnold. To say nothing of what Seth Luttrell is doing or not doing. He the play caller. Doesn't seem like Brent is anything like interested in taking those privileges away. And not for nothing, but when Seth Luttrell was calling plays for Mason Fine at North Texas as a head coach, it worked fine. It was fine. I think as soon as they figure out what it is they're going to be, it's going to be okay. And it's not as if Seth Luttrell did not have a front row seat to what Jackson Arnold was doing in Denton. For those of you that don't know, North Texas is in Denton, Texas. He was right there the whole time. He knows what the boy can do and what he can't do. Okay? By the way, those of y'all that don't know the Denton guy or Denton Ryan be putting it down like that, you need to go look them up. Those high school programs can go, man. That's why Oklahoma recruits North Texas the way they do. They always got dudes. So we need Jackson Arnold to demonstrate he got a little bit more Kyler Murray and a little less Trevor Knight. That's what we need. Also need somebody that can pass block at running back. Because Javonte Barnes, he the hammer. I like seeing that man have the ball, especially with Tyree Walker transferring to Wisconsin. Need a hammer. Need somebody who's going to run between the tackles and pick up hard yards. He a hammer. I know how much y'all love Taylor Tatum, but I think it's that y'all love that he a two-sport athlete, you know? Because as good as that dude is catching the ball, running with the ball, he can't pass block. Not right now. And you know what? That's not a dig. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to learn pass pro as a true freshman. A, you got to be big enough. B, you got to know what the offensive line is doing, and you got to go where the offensive line expects you to be. And with this offensive line, that's a tall order because this offensive line ain't no good. It ain't no good. There's no getting around that. This is back to people trying to pinpoint what's going on with Jackson Arnold will also point to the offensive line is not good. I would like to see what he has with a good offensive line. Well, hell, I would like to see what I can do with a good offensive line because with a good offensive line, anything is possible. You Kevin Garnett out here screaming anything is possible because it is. What is shocking is that Bill Beatonbow doesn't have the depth on that line to overcome the injuries. That's what's shocking. That's the question that I really would like somebody to answer for me. How is it that we down to the third string center and the third string center doesn't feel that good? How is it that you got a left side that everybody knows they can beat on? How is it that we can't figure out what the right combination of players is going to be no matter who's injured? That's a problem. And you've had 3 games to try to figure this out before you knew Tennessee was coming. You knew what Tennessee was going to be about. You know what is in the offing. And unless there's some magical fairy dust, you know, some Salt Bay that we can see Bill Beatonbow sprinkling on offensive line, I just don't see it getting better in the run game, and I don't see it getting better in the pass game because it all starts with those dudes. Doesn't matter how talented Jackson Arnold is or Taylor Tatum is if he can't get time to throw it. And at this point, if the offense doesn't run through Deion Burks, we're doing it wrong. But the problem is it does. It does. It's just you running jet sweeps with a dude that's built like what my granddaddy used to call one of them brick, hit houses. Except the S is silent when I'm talking. That dude is a stud. And it feels like sometimes he ought to be in the backfield. Sometimes it feels like he ought to be actually running the ball. But you can't do that because he's the best wide receiver and the wide receiving group is hurt. Like we're still waiting on Andrew Anthony to show up. You know, where the hell is Nick Anderson? These are guys we need. Defensively, that is going to be our saving grace. If Oklahoma is able to pull off an upset at home against Tennessee, it will be because Danny Stutzman, Billy Bowman, almost said Dylan Bell, Billy Bowman, and R. Mason Thomas have something to say about it. That's what it's going to be, okay? We're going to need a pass rush. We're going to need to be able to get a line quickly because what we know from Heupel and this new way of running the offense that he learned when he was out in the wilderness making it happen, man, came out like Paul, had this word to preach, and he been giving it to everybody since he's been to Tennessee. That veer and shoot, what they're going to do is they're going to go fast, and they're going to try to catch you in one-on-ones and 2v1s and take advantage of you being misaligned. We need to get a line quick, fast, and in a hurry, and we got to know what we're doing. I think Brent is going to help with that. I think Brent and Zach going to have something for that. I think the defense is going to keep the offense in the game. I think that. I just don't know if it's good enough. I think Nico is capable of throwing this defense the ball. I think this defense is capable of confusing him. I just don't know if the offense is capable of doing its part. And that's that's the reason to be terrified if you're an Oklahoma fan. Okay? The game can get out of hand real quick too because Tennessee will score quickly. It is explosive. If Oklahoma goes down by 3 scores, it's really difficult to claw back into that game because we don't have a quick scoring offense right now. We got a putt-putt offense right now. Putt-putt drive. Putt-putt drive. Putt-putt drive. There's no short game here. We can't go for 20, and then 6. We got to go for 70. Or we're going to go 3 and out. That's the problem. Until Tulane, I was not sure that this defense, that this offense could convert a 3rd down to save his life. Still not sure because it's Tulane. But I do know the defense is good because Darren Mensa went for 342 against Kansas State, and Oklahoma's defense put the shackles on the boy. Mario Williams got nothing and liked it, okay? Talk about a horrible homecoming for Mario Williams. I don't want a horrible homecoming for Josh Heupel because to the heart with that man for a number of reasons, not the least of which he's the last quarterback to quarterback Oklahoma to a national championship. 37 years old, dog. Last time Oklahoma won a national championship, I was 13. Okay? Last time, that's the best way to put it. The last time that Oklahoma won a national championship, Josh Heupel was in college. He has been a head coach at 2 different universities now, man. Like, what are we doing with this? I want good things for Heupel, just not against Oklahoma. That's it. That's it. You're going to find me saying nice things about Tennessee every other step of the way. Even now, I'm talking nice about Tennessee. I'm not really pouring in on them. But that's because that's what that man has meant to the program. And I think the way that he was pushed off by Bob Stoops to make way for Lincoln Riley, it ain't going to sit well with him. Is it the move? Sure. But that don't mean he got to like it. If I'm him, I would always think I'm the move. I'm the person. You should let me do this. There was a time, not that long ago, when we thought Josh Heupel was going to be the heir apparent to Bob Stoops, not Lincoln Riley. And then Lincoln Riley went to USC, and Josh Heupel made the roundabout from Missouri, Central Florida, Tennessee, and this is how he gets to come back home as head coach at Tennessee. I would not be shocked to find out he really wants to win this game. He is too sincere and humble and measured to say that out loud, but you got to know in his competitive heart, this is what he wants. He wants nothing more than to win this game going away. It would mean so much for him, so much for Tennessee, so much for their opportunity to play in the college football playoff and or win the national championship. He would want to do that. And you know what? Godspeed. I hope it's a damn good football game because it's going to have everybody's attention. Going to be so good. On our way out here, Texas A&M, a top 25 team because they beat Florida? Really? We can't give that to UNLV who's undefeated? Can't do that? A&M? Because Marcel Reed came out there and did what we thought DJ Lagway was going to do at the Swamp? Okay. But what that is also ensured is that Billy Napier is on thin ice, man. He's going to have to win a bunch of football games this year, and there ain't that many left to win. Same thing with Mike Norvell. Like, the state of Florida is really being carried by Central Florida and Miami, and those are the also-rans any other year. South Florida looked like a better football team against Alabama than Florida State has looked all year. But we still think something of Florida to where A&M could beat them 33-20, and we're going to rank them. Okay, sure. Well, maybe that loss to Notre Dame wasn't that bad. Dog, Notre Dame lost to Directional Illinois at home. Yes, it was that bad. It's that bad. Okay? Can't have that. It's just not going to work out. I don't think that's any good. I didn't really like it. I don't really agree with it. But A&M might be here for a good long while because their schedule actually sets up for them to be kind of soft the rest of the way in the SEC. Mike Elko seems like a good dude. I really like Colin Klein. Right? I think Marcel Reed, they got something there. maybe with some dudes on that defense with the Shamars. The Shamars can go, dog. I was watching that game over again because, it had the delay, and it was muggy, and it was nasty outside at times, but that defensive line is nasty. But for Florida, it's more a defensive problem. Like, they can't stop anybody. They can't stop anybody on the run. They can't stop anybody in the pass. I just would not have ranked A&M off of this win. However, you go into the swamp, you go get a win as A&M, you're going to celebrate it because that just don't happen all that time. And right now, it feels like anybody that wants it can go get it in the swamp. Good luck to you, Florida, the rest of the way. All right. That is going to do it for tonight's episode of the #1 college football show. We do live shows on Saturdays, 11 Eastern, depending on whether or not Georgia wants to try to take Kentucky into the deep water. Sundays at 7 Eastern, Tuesdays at 7 Eastern. And I do segments throughout the week, parts of the show you'll see all over the time, clips here and there. If you're able to catch the show, great. If not, watch the clips. I'll be here, and we'll have plenty to say about Oklahoma and Tennessee the rest of the way. I'll see y'all on the flip side. Deuces.